live or on Facebook page Radio Mini 88.3 FM. Mr Wahome, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, bro.
How have you been?
Very, very well.
Ulivuka salama?
Kabisa, tunashukuru Mungu.
Yes.
Ulivuka vema.
Yes.
And this is a new year, a great year. We're looking forward to good things this year has to offer.
Exactly. So karibu sana. Today we officially begin our Money Matter sessions here on Radio Wahome, and I'm glad that today you have also created time for us, which is very, very beautiful. But first things first, Mr. Wahome, introduce yourself again, this 2026, and also what you do, and if you have classes again today, can you let us know?
Thank you. And I'm delighted, and I want to say Happy New Year to our listener. I know you have been with us for quite some time. We are always honored to know that you're there with us. And in fact, if you have a friend, today we would say call your friend, because we need to be able to talk together. We are calibrating for 2026, and I'll explain what calibrating for 2026 means. My name is Wahome Ngari. I come from the Personal Finance Academy, and I spend my time actually teaching adults about money, just making it possible for people to do better with money, maybe earn more money, manage it better, deal with loans, deal with investments, and all those situations. And yes, at the Personal Finance Academy, we have structured programs. We do one-on-one sessions. If you're interested as a person and you need help in a given area, if you have employees, and you think there's an area where they need help, if you have a group of people and they actually need some help in some area, we're able to work with that. And yes, today we also starting the Wealth Creation Masterclass seasons for this year. Today we are in what we call lesson 6, and we're going to look at investments. And today we actually be looking at how do you pick an investment? How do you tell what's the best investment for your circumstances? That's the discussion that we have tonight. And yes, our listener, you're welcome, because it is a new day. It is the first day, and you're welcome to be able to join with us. It is virtual. It is on Zoom, starting at 7 this evening. And if you're interested in actually understanding how to pick investments, what investments work best for you based on your circumstances, you can just throw in a text or a WhatsApp to 0708 150 137, and somebody will send you the link so that you can join us at 7. But it's a good time to be able to have a discussion this morning, Bramwell. You know, we've had the holidays, and that was good to celebrate the holidays, or parties, travel. You saw what the roads did to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have seen new sites, new places, or family meetings, you know, family get-togethers. Yes. And we've seen our friends, but we are finally back to work.
Exactly.
And it's a good thing. We're back to school. There are people who joined PP1. So parents who've gone to school very first time. Now they understand subjects like fees and uniform and transport. And there are those who joined grade 1. So they've actually gone to another. Obviously, children were promoted from one grade to the other. And this week, starting yesterday, I think it's grade 10. And it's been a bit of heat. But we're happy they're finally there. I think a couple of things are happening. And yeah, this is a good week. We also received fourth form results. So we're preparing to go to the next level. But I know the refrain is Happy New Year. And I think we'll keep that. I'm not sure up to where, but I was told the deadline is 31st of March. But all we can say is let's have a blessed 2026. It's a new year. It presents new opportunities. It gives us a chance for new energy. We have a chance for new thoughts. We can be able to change the way we look at things. We have a chance. If something you are trying, it didn't work for you, I think you have a chance to try it. You know, we have an excuse to do things differently. If you're doing things differently, if you're waking up earlier, if you're exercising, you're trying to reduce weight, blame it on the new year. It's a new year. You can blame it on the year. It also gives you a reason to do things. If there's something you wanted, you know, you wanted to streamline something, it gives you a reason, and you have a chance to take a new course. If what you did last year you didn't like, then there's a chance to take a new course, new approaches, so that we're not theoretical, we are practical. And they always tell me, mapema ndio best.
Exactly.
We're going to start early. And you know, if you look at it early in the morning, the shadows are normally very long. That tells you the opportunities. Those shadows tell you this day is going to be, and the opportunities. At noontime, shadows are very short, and we call it the comfort zone. You know, hata ukiona noontime, what we tend to do, we actually go under the tree and we sit there. But in the evening, the shadows get longer again. And those are the shortfalls. You can actually see what you have not done. So while we're in the morning for the year, the opportunities are there before we get into the comfort zone and we get into the shortfalls. So I think we can agree that we have survived 2025 by the grace of God. And now we have to ask ourselves, what do I want to achieve by the end of the new year? And I know people have done New Year resolutions. So we're actually not trending into new ground. We're trending into spaces where people have been. Okay, how will I get it done? What will I need to be able to achieve that? Where will it come from? And how do I get it? But more importantly, we have to answer the why. Why must I do things differently? Yeah. Because if you don't answer the why, all these things of what and how don't fall in place. And that is what calibrating for 2026 is all about. Having deep, honest conversations, asking ourselves these questions from a serious perspective. What do I want to achieve this year? How will I get it done? Why do I even want to do it? What do I need to do? How will I get it? How do I get this thing? Once we're able to do that calibration, because in essence, calibration is an ongoing practice where you consider, you want to sort of be the author of your life, the things that you're doing. You want to be alert. You want to be alive. You want to be proactive. You want to be deliberate. Because if you go through life and we are not alert, we are not alive, we are not proactive, now we just become a character and we become passive, we become reactive, and we are following all along. And by the end of the year, this will have lapsed and will not have achieved a lot. So this is the difference between reacting to everything that happens or consciously responding in a way that's going to move us to where we want to be. Our destinations, we have goals, we have dreams, we have aspirations, we have responsibilities. We have to be proactive to get there. And my listener, this morning, I want you to think about it this way. How many hats do you wear? You know, if you think about it, and you have to ask yourself, what do I require when I wear this hat? If you're a parent, that means you're a mother or a father. Can you imagine how many things are required of you by your children, by your status, even status? You know, there are things you can't do, there are things you can't say because of your status in a given environment. So we have to ask ourselves, what's required of me? If you're a spouse, you are a husband or you are a wife, there are responsibilities. There are things that you do when you wear that cap, and that must be done. If you're a child, you're a son or your daughter, you know, what does the Bible say? Honor your mother and father. So we have responsibilities and obligations to do. If you're a sibling, you have a brother and you have a sister, when somebody says, this is my brother, it comes with a lot of obligations. And if you think about all these relationships I'm talking about, they require 4 things, basically, all the time. Each of them will require your money. When you say you're a father and your children has been admitted to school, what are you supposed to do? Provide for them.
Exactly.
It requires your time. When you say you're a spouse, you must be available for your spouse. It requires your thought. You know, you can't be having children and you're not thinking about them. And it also requires your emotions. You will actually bring in your emotions. And so we wear very, very many different hats, and each of the hats is requiring our time, our money, our thoughts, and our emotions. And that is where we always have to think about something we call balancing the wheel of wellness, because there are very many things. So we have many hats. I think I didn't even exhaust them. You can be here the whole day saying, you know, I have relations. I'm somebody's auntie. I'm somebody's uncle. I'm somebody's cousin. Some people are grandparents, a grandmother, a grandfather. We are workers, and we have relations. If you think of just about the workplace, does your colleagues require your time? Do they require your thoughts? Do they require your emotions? If somebody is not feeling well, you come through with your emotions. If somebody needs help, we have to put in money together. You might be a manager, you might be a leader. Just think about it. At church, you're a member of a cell group, the Jumia. You may be in the choir, you know, Catholic Action, CWA, or any other. You're a neighbor, you know. Even being a neighbor requires you give an input. If you're somebody's friend, and honestly you say you're a friend, that will cost you time, will cost you money, will cost you thoughts, will cost you emotions. And I don't know what else you can be. You know, there's some people who will say, me, I'm boyfriend or I'm girlfriend. Again, that's a different status. You might be a sports participant. So you're in football, you're in golf, you're in aerobics, you jog, you're a mountain climber. If you think about this, can you see how many hats we have to wear? Yeah. And the interesting thing is we wear these hats simultaneously. Just because you're a parent, you cannot forget you're a neighbor.
Yeah.
You cannot forget you're a worker. You cannot forget that you're in a team. So that's why we have to consider the wheel of wellness. So as we're looking at calibrating ourselves for 2026, we look at the wheel of wellness, which is a holistic way of visualizing all the things we are, all the interconnectedness we are, all those things, you put them together. They're like spokes on a wheel. You know, if you look at a bicycle, you can actually see those spokes that come. And if one is weak, the entire wheel cannot work.
Yeah.
It cannot be rolling smoothly if one is weak. So while there are many variations of describing the wheel, typically the wheel has 8 dimensions. And very quickly we can look at these dimensions. The first dimension is, you know, your physical, your body's health. And you know, we say your health is your wealth. We need this. And that is where we have to say, I need to focus on how do I take care of this body. You know, not only is it your wealth, it is the domicile of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So we're looking at how do I feed it well. So there are nutritional issues, you know, there are exercise issues, the issues about sleeping. You know, you must sleep, because if you don't sleep, there will be issues. There's medical care for the body. So there are a couple of things around that area. And maybe my listener, I want to say, if you're listening about your physical health on a scale of 0 to 10, where would you rate yourself? Are you a 10? That means you are almost a gym instructor. You're doing very well.
Yeah.
Or are you at that point when even waking up from a chair is a problem? If there's a flight of stairs, you're going to struggle with that. Give your score, 0 to 10. The other one is emotional. The other wheel is emotional. Understanding, managing, and expressing your feelings effectively. You know, being alive and being well and being truthful to your emotions, because we're going to have a lot of emotions in life. There are days of anger, there are days of joy, there are days of tears, there are days of celebrating. And so we need to have issues around self-compassion. And this emotional one is where we actually get mental wellness. And I think mental wellness is a big issue.
Yeah.
It's a big issue. We're looking at resilience. You know, if you fail, how do you wake up again? Now, again, on a score of 0 to 10, I don't know how, my listener, you can rate yourself in terms of your emotional wellness. Where are you? How are you able to manage your emotions? The other one is intellectual. You know, engaging the mind, how you're engaging the mind, how sharp you're feeling, how curious you are, how creative you are, how ready you are for solving problems. You know, lifelong saving. When you look at this, when you're presented with a problem, do you like thinking about it, or do you feel tired and bored and you don't want it? You know, I think that's the statement that says, I don't want to think about it. Yeah. Again, that's a very, very important area, because if you find yourself not engaging intellectually, you're bored, you're tired, you know, you have no energy, and that's going to be a problem. Imagine if you're a worker. Or imagine you're a parent, your children want to play and your emotions are 0, you know, your intellectual capacity. Kids are asking you questions you don't know. You're supposed to go and look. You can't just tell them, I don't know. Yeah. You're supposed to go look out for the answers. So that's a whole area to think about. The other spoke of this wheel is social. You know, building and maintaining healthy relationship with others. How are you relating with others? How frequently do you support people? Do you find yourself angry? Do you find yourself with quarrels? Do you find yourself with conflict? And if you have, how do you solve them? Do you have supporting relationships? I've had a statement severally. I think this more comes from the younger people, the Gen Z. Toxic relationships. My parents are toxic. Yeah. And I actually struggle with that a lot. Because if everybody is toxic in your life, then who should be toxic? Isn't it you? Really, it can't be everybody. You know? And the question is, how are you able to build and maintain healthy relationships? How do you relate with your colleagues at work, with your cousins? We just come from those family reunions, and sometimes it's friction, it's firework. People can't agree. You know, sometimes we see conflict even in the places of worship. Again, my listener, if you rate yourself socially, where would you rate yourself between 0 and 10? The number 5 is normally your occupational or your vocational. By the way, the work you do you feel you like your work? Do you find satisfaction in the work you do? Do you find the purpose in the work you do? Are you maintaining a work-life balance? Or are you running away and hiding at the work? Or are you feeling like you don't want to go? This is a new year. We said new energy. Are you suffering from Monday blues? How did it work out for you on Monday? Did you feel like waking up? So in terms of occupation, are you feeling the purpose? Are you feeling the calling? Do you love it? Or is it time to think about changing it? So that's what we call the occupational or vocational will. Of course, we have the financial, because almost all these things will cost us money.
Yeah.
And in terms of managing our resources, living securely, reducing stress, how are you feeling about your financial life in terms of your budgets, your planning, the incomes you have, being mindful of your spending, the investments that you have? If you rate yourself again on a scale of 0 to 10, where would you place yourself on that? The other wheel, which is very, very critical, is what we call environmental. Yes, your connection with your surroundings, the place where you are. Do you feel safe? Do you feel organized? Is your home present? Do you connect with nature? What about the desk where you work? What about your computer? By the way, how many documents are you losing all the time and you're looking for them all the time? Okay, people are looking for something. Your kids gave you this thing when they came from school and you're looking for it all over. How organized are you around yourself, around your documents, around your home? How do you connect with nature? Do you actually find any time for grounding? Do you find yourself out somewhere in nature? It's very interesting. I tell people last year when I did my medical checkup, I got a very interesting result from the doctor. Mm-hmm. They said I don't have vitamin D. I don't stay in the sun.
Look at that.
And I found this is weird. I'm on the tropics. I'm on the equator. And I have to actually swallow capsules.
Yes.
Because I don't have vitamin D. And I said, surely I'm very disconnected from nature.
Yeah.
Because this is a part of the world where sunshine happens. Mm-hmm. And I told myself, now what I'll do, I'll actually get into walking. Yeah. Because if you're going to walk outside, then you will have a chance. And I bet next time when I do a medical test, they will not prescribe medicine for vitamin D. Graciously, what God has given me, the sun will be able to work. Mm-hmm. And the last part of this wheel, which is very, very important, is spiritual. You know, what's your sense of meaning, of purpose, of connection to God? How do you feel connected? You know, we're looking at your religion, your philosophy, your values, your principles. Where are you on this? If you were told judge yourself, where would you judge yourself? Are you? Because there are times people say, I'm not even feeling God. Yeah. I am not even sure what's the purpose of life. I feel all these people who commit suicide, that's the line that doesn't work.
Exactly.
You know, completely. You don't feel the urge. Of course, we also have the fanatical ones, you know, the ones who see angels day and night. Mm-hmm. And they actually forget to do all the other things. Or a couple of years back, we were told the world is coming to an end. People pulled children out of school. They stopped farming. They did everything. Now, it's necessary to have a good balance. So in all those areas, my listener, and we remember we talked about 8. You can add a few more if you want to add more. So we said you're calling yourself in all the 8, and we have said the starting point for you would actually be something about your physical well-being. Yeah. How alive and well are you? How fit are you? The other one was emotions. How you feel about emotions, your mental wellness, your the things that you're doing. The other one was intellectual, your sharpness, your alertness. We talked about social, dealing with other people. We talked about vocational, the work you do every day, how you earn a living. We talked about financial, you know, managing your resources and being happy about them. We talked about environment, you feeling a connection with nature and the surrounding where you are. And we talked about spiritual. So let's do a heads up, because as we calibrate for the new year, we need to be able to reflect on this. We need to look at our resolutions. We need to look at our goals and see, are they leading us where we want to go? We have picked the items. And we said you can actually be able to assess yourself and say, at a rate of 0 to 10 on each of these, where am I? 10 as best and 1 as worst. And we always say, be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't tell yourself you're physically fit. And if for some reason you fell somewhere and there was tear gas, you're not even able to run. You must admit you're not, so that you can do something about it. Yeah. Don't tell yourself you're doing well with people. And it's somebody you're looking at and your heart just turns black. No. It is important to be honest to yourself, okay? And we always say, don't try to overhaul all these things at once. It may not be practical. In fact, we say, pick the 3 that you think are so important for you and just work on those this quarter. Just 3 small, consistent actions that you're going to take that are very, very sustainable. Because even when we do resolutions, when we do goals, the problem is sometimes we do things we cannot even be able to achieve.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be a marathoner and last year you're not even able to run 100 meters. It doesn't work. You can't wake up and tell me I'm climbing Kilimanjaro. It doesn't work like that. You must hit Gong Hills a number of times. Then you try out Elephant Hill, and maybe you try Mount Kenya before you go to Kilimanjaro. So it is important to be able to pick just 3 areas. It is you who know yourself, and you're going to see which are the ones that can give you best returns, and let's work on those quarter this year. Let's think about the things that we can be able to do. If you're looking at your physical well-being, what are some of the things that we can be able to do? The number 1 thing is exercise. And this is not difficult. You can actually set yourself a 30-minute rule. That 30-minute rule says you will be spending 30 minutes either every morning or in the daytime, on the evening, 3 times a week, exercising. So you could actually do what? A walk, you could do a jog, you could do a run, you could play a sport, you can do aerobics, you can do stretching, you can do yoga. So there are very many things, but 30 minutes. And when you are exercising, we always define exercise interesting. You must have beads of sweat on your forehead. You must have your heart pumping, supplying the body with oxygen. And you must have your lungs asking for more air. Those 3 things at once. When you just sweat alone, you can't say I'm exercising.
Yeah.
No. You might be staying in the sun. That's why you're sweating. Or in the kitchen where it's hot.
Exactly.
But you must be able to do those 3 things together. The other one is lifestyle. And the lifestyle part here, and this part of the year, this is important. Keep yourself hydrated.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the doctor ordered the 8 glasses of water a day. We need to start a day with a glass of water, not other beverages, and we need to be able to deal with these 8 glasses. Because it's very, very variable for us. This is how we do skincare. If you're not taking this water, you're not sweating, your skin will have problems. Remember, the waste in the body has to exit.
Yeah. And
Part of it will exit through sweat, the pores. And so if you're not sweating, the toxins will get stuck near the skin and you'll have skin problems. There's something we call brain power. You know, the brain must be well hydrated for you to be thoughtful, for you to be active. When you're not hydrated, when you get thirsty, sometimes you get very dull and you feel very tired because the brain power is done. And of course, the other thing is we got a lot of toxins in the body. We need to help them out. And the way out for toxins is urine. Yeah. And urine works well if you're drinking water. And obviously then you get the toxins out, you secure your kidneys, and you secure your body system. So a very simple thing. And I like it that water is not difficult to get. Exactly. In many places, they've got a dispenser. Water is free. You can be able to take water. Water is obviously not very exciting. It's not tasty. So you must look for ways and means to make it exciting for you. Maybe buy a colorful water bottle, put in some additives. Ladies do well in this one. They do additives, they do chia seeds and stuff. Alternatively, just look for it and take it hot. That's how men are able to crack it. Just take it a bit hot. But 8 glasses is what the doctor has ordered. Because we need to be physical, we need to be physically good. Now, the other thing that we're looking at is sleep. Oh yeah, we need to sleep. The way the body was created, the body must rest. Yeah. So that now parts of the processes of the body can happen, including the brain resting. Because when you sleep, the eyes don't need to see. Yeah. Okay, so the part of the brain can also rest kidogo. The legs don't need to walk. So that the brain needs to rest. You can't have your brain running. Some things are auto, so they will not stop. The heart will not stop beating. The breathing will not stop. But you can stop all the other activities. You can't talk when you're sleeping. So the brain is going to rest. And so we are looking at maybe try to go to bed 15 minutes earlier, starting this week. Yeah. You know, stop staying late too much. You know, you create a power down. Maybe if 30 minutes before bedtime, no screens. because we are stuck on the screen. When it is not the TV screen, it is a computer screen. When it is not a computer screen, it is a phone screen. Some people even in bed, they're under the blankets with the screen. Hey, there must be a power down ritual. So while you're in bed, 30 minutes before you sleep, out of the screen. And try to sleep 7-8 hours. Yeah, babies can sleep longer. That's when they grow. But as an adult, when you find you're only sleeping 2 hours, the body is very interesting. It keeps an accumulation of what you have not slept. And one of these days, you just find yourself sleeping. Some of the accidents we find on the road, somebody just slept. And you have a machine running and you are asleep. You know, some of the mistakes we find in industries, accidents, somebody just went to sleep. So it is important that we are able to sleep. Of course, the other thing is about diet. Yeah, we have to eat healthy. They taught us in kindergarten about balanced meals. Okay, we should not eat excess. Yeah, sometimes we this holiday we say wacha tuharibu, January will deal with it. Okay, can you allow January to deal with it? Yeah, and I always say try a menu at home. Try a menu at home. Don't just get excited taking stuff. Man, there's a danger somewhere down the road. We like nyama a lot, and you know uric acid will come and gout is going to catch up with us. Yeah, there's a joke about watu mulima and waru. You know, all this too much waru that we take, diabetes is going to come for us. So there has to be a balance, something out there. And the other one we can say is medical checkup, by the way. Yeah, it is important to do medical checkup. We need to do risk management. There is a medical checkup this year. If it's covered under your medical scheme, don't miss it out. Because there are many things that we need to check. Before things go bad, they can be arrested early. That's why we need to do blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, heart rate, all those things, just to be sure we are functioning and we are functioning well. Over and above doing the exercise. That's why we need to go for all those screenings for cancer, pap smear, prostate, all those things, so that things can work. If we do that and we take care of our physical health, I think we're going to feel strong, we're going to feel alive, we're going to feel well, we'll be able to do the things that require to be done. So that's very, very, very important. Very quickly, let's look at the emotional side. You need to identify our emotions. How do I feel? If you feel frustrated, if you feel stressed, be honest, admit it. Find out what is causing it. You must name it and tame it. It is important to name it and tame it. Look for what is the reason. Are you stressed out? What's your stress management system? And one of the biggest stress management systems is exercise. It is very, very important to exercise. It is where we take a portion of our holiday. It's where you sometimes have to spend time with the people you love, so that there's emotional connection. And that's why we always say, if you want to deal with your emotions well, just run to do your gratitude journal. You write down specific things, maybe early in the morning, maybe late in the evening. What are the positives in my life? You're just writing and saying at 9 p.m., I enjoyed sunshine. And that is where we're not going to Uber everywhere. So that now if I'm dropped here and have another 100 meters, I can walk, because that walk is going to give me a chance to be able to enjoy sunshine. So that you do not become like me, getting a prescription for sunshine drugs. And this year, can we practice something we call self-compassion? When you get stressed, you must have compassion. You must love yourself. And you must admit that things can be tough. So you cannot be winning in all things. The other day I was reading my Bible and I was reading about somebody called Haman. This guy wants to kill everybody just because one man is not kind to him. Mordecai is not good to him. So he wants to kill all the Jews. No, you can't be there. You can't be that person who wants to win everything with everybody. No, sometimes you must say life happens, and you accept your life happens. And the other thing is we need to seek help. I don't know how many people have a confidant. I always hear ladies saying, you need an Elizabeth. When Mary wasn't very sure what was happening, she needed to look for somebody to talk to. And I don't know that. Who is that? Who is your Elizabeth? Who is your confidant you can talk about? You need a mentor, or they say a mentor, depending where you went to school. Somebody you can sound yourself to. You can be able to look at. And sometimes you need a psychologist, because a lot of problems that we are having, people committing suicide, your life looks so good, but you're hollow inside and you're not saying it to anybody. Look for somebody to be able. And this is where God created family for us.
Exactly.
And that is the starting point where everything happens. So if you look at that balance, it might cost you money. I know I'm going through things, and I'm not talking about money, but I know it is going to cost you money. Remember what we said? Money, time, thought, and emotion.
Exactly.
It is going to be. Now, the other is interaction. On this wheel, we want to do a few things. Hey, scrolling is a problem. Wow, you can scroll endless. Until you get to know high speed, if you didn't know him. I must be honest, a lot of people in my generation didn't know high speed.
Until he arrived.
And now we are wondering, who is this capturing the whole world? But the way the algorithm has been made on your phone, once you start scrolling, it can never stop. It will only give you another story close to that story. And we're saying, let's try a small swap. What about 30 minutes of reading a book? Any genre, instead of scrolling. Yeah, I know we can scroll many hours. What about, and we are losing this skill of reading books, by the way. And we need, and I say to people, if you can't read the audiobooks, you can listen. But tell yourself, I will not be scrolling all the time. Maybe 30 minutes. You're going to start building and generating your brain. You need to be alive. You need to be active. That's what we are looking at. We're looking at podcasts or audiobooks, listening to something educational. And especially during your commute, when you're commuting. I think we listen to all these radio programs and we listen to many things. Sometimes we need to be able to listen to a podcast. You need to be an audiobook. Or when you're doing your normal shows, I like it. I see people in the gym. Yeah, they've got their headphones on. Yeah, they're jogging, but they're listening to something useful. So think about what podcast or what audiobook would I be able to try. The other thing is trying a new skill. It's always important to challenge your brain. Learn something new. Learn a new skill. Could be a new language. Why is it not possible to learn a new language? You can learn a new language, a new skill, a new hobby, and then YouTube can be a big place to start because you can be able to get a tutorial. You can get to know a new hobby, drawing, knitting, coding, all those things, playing a game that you've not played before. But I always recommend to people mental games. You seen crossword puzzle? Yeah. It's always very healthy. If you can get into the habit, playing Sudoku, it can become playing Scramble. When we meet, instead of all these, a lot of chatting and stories, we can actually decide, let's play Scramble or play Monopoly or play chess or play Kumiliki. Cards are good, but they're not very mental. Yeah. So we can try out something. I know there's some people who play Kenya at 50. They're all very good things to do. What we are saying is, if you don't use something, it suffers what we call atrophy. Yeah. If you don't keep engaging your mind, you're going to get dull and dull and dull and dull. And you're going to get to a point where you're going to say, Musi, niulize maswali. You don't want to think about those things. And that doesn't work well for the body. It doesn't work well for you. On the social side, and I know we're running out of time, we need to have intentional connections. And this is why we should schedule connection touch per week. Connection touch per week means, call a friend, have a phone call, maybe have a coffee date or a tea date, okay? Or just sending somebody a thoughtful text. If you look at it since the year started, who have you called? Just to say, hi, how are you? How did you cross the year? Okay? Who have you called out for a coffee date? Or soup, or whatever it is you drink, okay? Or even sending a thoughtful text to somebody. And this is one of the challenges. We're not reaching out to people. Yeah. So that even people who are in trouble, nobody is reaching out to them. Exactly. I mean, sometimes, you just say to somebody, hi, how are you? Happy New Year. And you open a small window for them to actually tell you what is happening to them. And you might be the person who is a lifeline for them. Yeah. You might be the angel who's been sent to them. So think about intentional connection, just calling out. We're looking at now, and I know this is a big problem, people are having conversations, but as we are conversing, you're on the phone, somebody is on TV. It is time we start doing what we call, long ago we used to call active listening. Yeah. When you're talking to me, I'm looking at you, and I have listening signals. I am saying, like you are. Your eyes are telling me you're listening. You're nodding and all those things. This becomes important for you and important for the other person. And it is important to join a group. don't be isolated. We were never created to stay alone. We are social animals, so we want to join a group. Just think about it. You might want to join a chama, so occasionally you're meeting your friends. You're in a church group, whatever church group. There are people in church and they're not in any group. They are not in the men group, they are not in the ladies group, they are not in the youth group, they are just not there. You need to be in a group. When your friends are forming a group, even if they are just doing a drive to Naivasha, be part of that group. You know, you need to have, and you might need to do some volunteer work. You might be able to step out of yourself to deal with others, because socially you're going to feel connected, and it is going to work good for you. Let me handle occupational just as we close.
All right.
We need to have work-life balance. You know, we need to be very clear, when does the day end? Because nowadays with gadgets, you can actually find yourself working 24 hours.
Yeah.
And because sometimes we are working for global organizations, part of it is in Europe, which is many hours, part of it is in Asia. So there's nothing like 8 to 5.
Yeah.
It is all the time. But we must tell yourself, we need to have what we call a day ritual. Sometimes when you close down your computer, you do things, you make a do list for tomorrow, and you stop there, so that, yes, you're working, your children needs you to play with you. They need to be able to do homework with you. You need to hear their story of what happened, what did they see. So that's important, to set boundaries. But we also need to seek growth.
Yeah.
I think it is important we seek a conversation. We want to see what skill do we want to have, what qualification do we want to have. But more importantly, we have to find purpose. You can't just be working.
Yeah.
You must identify, is it fulfilling you? What skill would you have for it to fulfill you? Is it rewarding you? What would you be able to do that? If you do those things, I think it's going to get better. Now, I know we were not able to do financial, and maybe what we will do, we will actually be able to look at that when we come to next time.
Right.
Because when we get to financial now, these things cost us money. So we will actually have to reduce it into money to say, for my physical well-being, how much money am I putting into that edifice? For my social well-being, how much am I? Even for my spiritual, you might want to go for a course. You might actually not even have a family Bible, and you have to buy one. So it is important that we be able to do that. So I think we can be able to take up that next time, so that then we find how we're going to get better in the things that we do. But we said for us, we have to be proactive, and that's why I said, join us today in the evening. Come to the Wealth Creation Masterclass. We want to look at how you can pick the best investment, whatever your circumstances are. Again, I say, just send your name to 0708 150 137. Somebody is waiting, and they will actually be able to give you a call. Again, I know Brian has a good book. He always recommends for you. But one of the things I always say to people, don't do those things in isolation. You can actually be able to do those things together. If you think about it, you can exercise. You can be with the person you love, so that you're having a valuable moment. You can also be in a good environment. Just think about you and family walking in Karura. How many birds are you hitting with one stone?
Wow.
You're exercising, you're having connections with the people you love, and you're open to nature. Okay? And that becomes a very, very healthy thing that we can be able to do. So we're going to look at those things. So as you trying to work on this, connect the spokes. Okay? Do a morning walk, which is physical, with a friend, which is social, in a good place, which is environmental. And if you do that, if you do Karura with your workmates, it is team building, it is exercise, it is together with nature. So that kind of thing. And then start looking at the goals you set, the resolutions you set, and start connecting them to these 8 areas in your life. And so that now you can start checking in. What have I done this week? Am I working with what I have? And be kind to yourself. If you're not making progress, be honest and look for help where you're not making progress. Right. And I think if we leave it at that, we're saying we are making progress, and we're going to get better as time goes on. Exactly. We have not finished calibrating. We'll come and calibrate. We'll bring in the money aspect of it, so that now we say, how does the money deal with this? But as we finish, it's good to take a reflection last year. Did I like the money I earned? Do I like where it went? Do I like my investments? Can I change something? Can I change my money habits this year? That's an important discussion we have as we prepare for our next discussion, God willing, next week.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Wahome, for your time and the insights this morning. Looking forward to next week, God willing. Asante sana. My dear listener, remember, Mr. Wahome has a session with you this particular evening on Zoom at the comfort of your bedroom, at the comfort of your sitting room. Tap into that, my dear listener, so that you can know some of the areas that you need to invest in this particular area. You can drop a text to show your interest on 0708 150 137. That is the number, 0708 150 137. Or, but my biggest recommendation, my dear listener, you need to know who you are and how you deal with your money. All these found in The Wallet Words, and a book that has been authored by Mr. Wahome himself. You can also get a copy via that particular number. Drop a text, ask for that copy, and Mr. Wahome will actually ensure that it gets to you. 0708 150 137. Thank you so much for your time, my dear listener. Looking forward to having you again tomorrow, God willing. Do have a productive Tuesday. Kwaheri.